Congrats on your brand new Breezer bike. Today we're going to show you how to assemble it. Your bike will come partially assembled, so first let's go over the tools you'll need. You'll need a 4, 5, and 6mm Allen key, grease, a pump, a pedal wrench, a 10mm box wrench, a Phillips head screwdriver, and some wire strippers. Start by opening the box and carefully remove the bike, small parts box, seat post, saddle, and front wheel. Then remove any additional packaging material. Inside the small parts box, you will find the owner's manual and additional documentation. You can use the bike box to help keep the bike upright for the following steps. Next, grab your grease and layer the inside of the seat tube. Insert the seat post and tighten the seat clamp with a 5mm Allen wrench. Now let's install the handlebars. Remove the 4 bolts from the front of the stem using the 4mm Allen key. Then grease the bolts and make sure the cables aren't tangled or twisted. Center the handlebar on the stem and reinstall the stem faceplate. Before you crank the bolts tight, you can rotate the handlebar to your desired angle, then tighten down the bolts. With the bars and saddle now on, we can go ahead and flip the bike over for the next step. For the front wheel, we'll need to unthread the through axle and remove the foam insert. Slide the wheel on while cautiously aligning the disc brake rotor in between the brake pads on the caliper. Make sure the connection tab on the hub is facing the ground. Then reinstall the axle and securely tighten the quick release. Next, we'll get the dynamo light wired up. You can flip your bike back over for this step. Using the screwdriver and wrench, we need to remove the hardware from the front fender to install the light. You'll need to reinstall in this order: flat washer, light mount, concave washer with the concave facing the fork, then slide it through the fork, add the other concave washer, slide the fender on, and then add the bolt. Tighten securely. Then you can unfasten the wiring, grab your rubber housing, and measure from the bottom of the light to the axle and cut the housing with some scissors or a knife. Then you can feed the wire through the housing. With the wire through the housing, measure the wire about an inch past the axle and cut with the strippers. Then you'll need to strip about a ½ inch of each wire. Feed the strip wire carefully through the connection tab and fold the wire over into the grooves. Slide the connection cover onto the clip, and then the entire clip goes onto the connection tab on the front hub. Give it the old spin test to ensure everything's working. With everything working, you can fasten the housing to the fork with the zip ties and cut the excess with your strippers. This bike does not come with pedals, but to install your own, leave the bike upside down, grease the threads, and grab your pedal wrench. The pedals are marked with an L or an R on the spindle. Tighten the left pedal by turning the crank arm clockwise, and the right pedal by turning the crank arm counterclockwise. Now let's put some air in the tires. Grab your pump, remove the valve cap, and loosen the valve with your fingers. Lock the pump onto the valve and air the tires up to the recommended pressure on the sidewall of the tire. Make sure to tighten the valve and reinstall the cap afterwards. With the front tire installed, now we can flip the bike back onto its tires. Make sure that the saddle is level. If you need to adjust, you can use the 4mm Allen key on the bolt at the top of the seat post. If you haven't already, you can adjust the saddle to your desired height with the 5mm Allen key. If a fender needs adjusting, loosen the struts with the 5mm Allen key, carefully adjust the fender with your hand, and retighten the bolts. That's it. Thanks for picking Breezer. And if you have any questions, please contact customer service at the address in the video description. We'll see you on the trail.